Hello guys. Now this is video number 4. This video will be about proportions. Okay? So let's define a proportion. A proportion is an equation that states the equality of two rates or ratios. Okay? Rates or ratios. Okay? Needs to be two of them. Example: 250 miles over 5 hours is equal to 50 miles over 1 hour. This is a proportion, meaning this ratio is equal to this ratio. All right, another example: 3 over 6 equals 1 half. This is a proportion because 3 over 6 is 1 half. Okay, so here's the rule. If A over B and C over D, example, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, are equal ratios, like this example, or rates, then A over B equals C over D is a proportion. So the ratio on the left should be equal to the ratio on the right, meaning the value. If we're going to write A over B in a column form, then it will look like this. So A over B will be A is to B, and C over D will be C is to D. Then the two inner numbers, B and C, will be the means, and the two outer, so inner, outer, will be the extremes. So another way to say that there are proportion, if the product of the means, so if I multiply B and times C, so the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. If I multiply A and D and they're equal, that means it's a proportion. And another way also is by using cross product method. If you have A over B equals C over D and you use cross product, this is a cross product, meaning that two variables are crossed. Say A times D, if it's equals to B times C, thus this is a proportion. And we can use also cross product to solve a proportion. Okay, so let's solve a proportion right now. I have prepared 4 examples for this video. Okay, example 1 and 2, it's a direct application. 8 over, what is that? 8 over 5, right? Yes. 8 over 5 is equals to n over 6. So if I do cross product, 5 times n, you know it's 5n, equals 8 times 6, you know is 48, right? Now, divide by 5 both sides, so n cancels out. So n will be equal to 48 over 5, or 9.6. Go ahead and solve number 2. Pause the video and solve number 2. And come back for the answer. Okay, so let's see what you got. Cross product, 5 times x is 5x, equals 42 times 8. Use a calculator. 42 times 8, that is 336. It's 336 divided by 5 both sides. Then x is equal to, divide by 5, 67.2. So that's how you solve proportion. It's just a simple direct cross product. Okay, here's the application. If you travel 290 miles in your car on a 15 gallon of gasoline, how far can you travel in your car on 12 gallon of gasoline under similar driving condition? So there's two ratio here. 290 miles on a 15 gallon gasoline, and how can you travel in your 12 gallon gasoline? So let's make a ratio. My first ratio would be 290 miles over 15 gallon. Then I'll set up how can you travel mile, because this is a miles. So my second ratio will be miles, x miles over 12 gallon. This is very important, guys. When you set up a ratio, a proportion, be sure that it's consistent. Consistent means if miles over gallon on the ratio in the left, the ratio on the right must be miles over gallon. You cannot say gallons over mile because that would be a mismatch. Okay, once you do that, now apply the cross product. 15 times x is 15x. Ignore right now that would be miles per gallon, okay? Miles times gallon. So ignore the the units. So it won't you won't be confused. Then 290 miles times 12 gallon. Use a calculator. 290 times 12 is 3480. 3480. And then divide by 15 because you're trying to solve for x. Divide by 15 and 232. In the unit, miles per gallon. Okay, because this is now over 1. So does it make sense then? So if you have a 290 miles, you're gonna use 15 gallons. Now you have only 12 gallons. What do you expect the X would be? Bigger than 290 or bigger or smaller than 290? It needs to be smaller, right? Because it's similar driving conditions. Your now the gallon here is bigger than the gallon here. So thus this should be, you should drive shorter distance. And sure enough, 232 is smaller than 290. So our answer is 232 miles per gallon. I mean, I'm my bad. 232 miles, not per gallon. X is a miles. 232 miles because you are asked to find how far can you travel. So that would be 232 miles. All right? And then of course, the next is number 4. Try to work on number 4, pause the video, and then come back for the answer. Okay? All right. So let's set up a proportion here. 12 ounce for every 50 pounds of baby weight. And then how many ounces for 175 pound? Okay, so let's set up a proportion. I would like to, the proportion, it's up to you. If you want ounce over pound, it's okay also. If you want pounds over ounce, it's okay as long as it's consistent on two ratios. So this is 2 ounce over 50 pounds. So now therefore, my other ratio must be ounce over pound. So I have here 175 pound, and then here how many ounces? So that would be X ounces. And then you do cross product. Okay, again, they need to be the same. So 50 X equals, ignore the unit. So 2 times 175. So 50X equals 2 times 175. That would be 350. Then divide by 50 both sides. So X is equals to 7, right? 7 what? So that would be how many ounces? So 7 ounce. And then check your answer. Here, if you have 2 ounce, you'll get 50. Now you have 175 pounds. So this is expected to be bigger than this. At least. Because 150, 175, at least 3 times. Yeah, so that's why it's 7. So therefore, it validates your answer. Okay, so guys, that is for video number 4, the concept of proportion.